Greetings, and salutations, one and all. Welcome to the night shift. How are you? Ooh, what a weekend. Why am I repeating everything? To put emphasis, that's why. It has been quite a strong end. Last night, co-hosting Miss Jamaica, Florida was an awesome experience. It was just amazing. Those young ladies and what they were asked to do on that stage. It took a lot of courage, it took a lot of grit, it took a lot of practice, and they did it. Congratulations to them, each and every one of them, in their participation in the pageant last night. But kicking off the week, the night shift week, I want to say welcome to each and every one of you tuned in tonight from near and far. Those tuned in on rockthebox.net, on TuneIn Radio, the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, of course, home of the night shift. If you're tuned in on the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com, glad to have you. Those across the pond, One Harmony Radio, top of the morning to you guys over there. Those tuning on PEMG TV, and of course the website kevinstew.com, home of the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Thank you very much for tuning in. Glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you. Wouldn't even try.
Nobody say, hey, this would have been easy, oh, on your way, hey. You might come across some troubles on your journey, hey. I know that it could get rough sometimes, and it does get tough sometimes, but don't go sit down, you know, like your problems are you, yeah. Up and smile, you can't get off my child, cause royalty running in your veins, and I know it's easy to complain, yeah. But there are better days ahead of you. Better days are coming, hey, and I know things are a little hard for you, but better days are coming, hey, I know the journey that you're on, it might seem long, but they say what can kill you, it does only make you strong, but there's better days ahead of you. Better days are coming.
Good evening, Happy. A happy new week to you too.
I know you're feeling, yeah, like you really want to stop falling, and you're balling, calling out on your knees, yeah. But brighter days gonna come soon. Jaja, he loves you, yeah. I know that it could get rough sometimes, and it does get tough sometimes, but don't go sit down, you know, like your problems are you, yeah. Up and smile, you better get off my child, cause royalty running in your veins, and I know it's easy to complain, yeah. But there are better days ahead of you. Better days are coming, hey, and I know things are a little hard for you, but better days are coming.
This is the sound of Aaron Duncan. A track called Better Days.
This would have been easy, oh, on your way.
I want to say big ups to Melissa.
Some troubles on your journey.
Still celebrating her Earth Strong.
Sometimes, and it does get tough sometimes, but don't sit down, you know, like your problems are you, yeah. Up and smile.
Yeah, only a few people I know celebrate all month. But you should claim it with pride and joy.
Better days are coming. Hey, and I know things are little hard for you, but better days are coming. Hey, I know the journey that you're on, it might seem long, but they say what will kill you, it does only make you strong. But there's better days ahead of you. Better days are coming. Yeah. Better days, it coming.
Right, hashtag happy. That's the only way to celebrate as far as I am concerned.
Hey, I know that it could get rough sometimes, and it does get tough sometimes.
Anybody that celebrates their Earth Strong and they don't do it all month, they have a serious problem.
Say, hey, this would have been easy. Oh, on your way, hey, you might come across some troubles on your journey. Hey, I know that it could get rough sometimes, and it does get tough sometimes. But don't sit down in all of your problems. That's how you hold up and smile. You better get up right try, 'cause royalty running in your veins, and I know it's easy to complain. Yeah, but there are better days ahead of you. Better days are coming. Hey, and I know things are
I want to say thanks to Paul C Media Group for sponsoring this segment of the show. When being in the moment is priceless,
but they say what will kill you, it does only make you strong.
you definitely want to get with
Better days ahead of you.
Paul C Media Group.
Better days are coming. Yeah.
Give them a call and tell them that I sent you.
Coming. Better days, it coming. Better days, it coming. Coming.
And that will definitely contribute to your good days.
It coming. Better days, it coming. Better days, it coming. Coming, coming.
Yeah, it's coming. The better days. And in the shape and form of what exactly, I can't say because I don't know. I can't predict the future. But better days are coming. And let me see. It has been what? 2 weeks, Owen, since we've spoken.
It's been a while, bro.
Yeah, things rough around here. Things rough.
Come on, you've been asked to do better things, man.
Last week was had to do with preparations for the pageant. So yeah, better things. I wouldn't necessarily say better things. I wouldn't say not as good things either. But duty called elsewhere, and the pageant was awesome, to say the least.
No doubt, no doubt.
So how have you been?
We're good. We're doing all right. We're coping with another Jamaican summer, and that comes with obviously the heat.
But it comes with the rain too.
It comes with, we got a half day of rain. Okay, we got a half day of rain, and everybody's hopes is up. So especially those of us in Kingston that rely on the Mona Reservoir for water.
Right.
We're all experiencing some water lockups and that kind of thing. So it was lovely to see the rain.
Yes.
We're hoping for it over an extended period, but
Talk
sad to
about
say
praying
it's
for
still
rain.
down there now. Yes. But we give thanks, for what you receive. We're truly thankful.
But hasn't there been more since?
Not much. I mean, we've had, as I say, half a day at a time at most. We saw rain on Friday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2 days ago. And it was not for a very long. As I say, it was afternoon rain, so didn't quite make up the shortfall in the dam and all that. But we're thankful.
Yeah, it does make a difference. It does make a difference. And water lockups are still prevalent.
Its pressure is low.
Water pressure low. Listen, it's a rough. I can't say that I miss it. To be honest, I really can't say.
Imagine that.
Be it ever so humble, there's no place like home. Nonetheless, ask
Right.
anybody. No better than yard. But
Yeah.
yeah, I can do without the water restrictions. All right,
Yeah,
so
we're all have to make some plans to work our way around it, plant some more trees for the medium term, and in the short term, conserve and use the water wisely.
well, yeah, that makes sense. It's not rocket science.
Mm-mm.
So tonight in our show tonight, we're talking about something that I came across a couple of weeks ago. I do believe it had to have been. And that is the whole thing about a bank asking a citizen for citizenship information. And apparently this caused a little bit of a stink here in the US. But I don't know if you're familiar with the what went down with that. There was a whole article about it. And for those who are not privy to the article or have not come across it, initially, let me see, it came about in late July. And let me give you all a quick overview. Josh Collins and his wife, Jessica Salazar Collins, were the couple involved. And they asked the question, why would the Bank of America, where they banked for since early 2000s, suddenly ask about Josh's citizenship? Josh was born in Wichita. Now, by as far as being a good old American goes, that's one of the places that you'd Kansas, the heartlands. So this American couple were kind of taken aback. They got this letter from Bank of America in June asking, among other things, whether Josh was a citizen or could claim dual citizenship with another country. And Jessica just got rid of the letter because she thought it was a scam. In late July, the bank cut off their access to their money. And the Bank of America said it was standard practice to ask about citizen status when opening a new account or updating customer information on an existing one. All right. Thank you, hashtag happy. I appreciate love, the flattery. Telling me I did an excellent job as an MC for the event, for the pageant last night. All right. So, as it relates to this, Owen, first
Yeah.
of all, as it relates to banking in Jamaica, and some might say, but what does banking in Jamaica have to do with banking in America? With a bunch of us live in America, but still,
Right.
if you're Jamaican, you have to deal with banking in America, and if you're America with Jamaican ties, you may have to deal with some banking in Jamaica. So, information on tonight's show
Right.
may prove quite helpful. Have you ever heard of a situation like this in Jamaica? First of all,
Mhm.
if you
Yeah.
could briefly
Uh,
give your connection to banking in Jamaica overview.
yeah. I'm not a stranger. Yeah, I'm not a stranger to banking. It is part of what I have done for a number of years, and I do have some certification in in banking, dating back to the late 90s.
Right.
So I'm exposed to banking law, of course. I'm obviously sitting on both sides of the fence, being exposed to banking, but also being a practicing attorney means that this issue that we're delving into this evening touches both of those fields.
Right.
And I can speak to it from the perspective of what happens in Jamaica. Can't tell you too much about your particular case there. I
Mm-hmm.
defer to my colleague on your side of the continent there. But for Jamaican law and for Jamaican banking law, a lot of what occurs here is driven by and spun off from what happens in the US,
Right.
or what the US regulators fear could happen in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So, beginning in the probably as early as the 1970s, um, US banking regulators became very concerned that a number of leaks existed in the US banking system that could potentially allow uh, those who are involved in the underworld
Mm-hmm.
to move money through the formal banking system into the United States
Yeah.
and affect um, the financial system there.
Huh.
Of course, the 1970s was when you had that massive boom in the cocaine trade with persons in Central and South America moving the product in large quantities into the US market and obviously gaining large fortunes out of it. And of course, how do you then take that money and secure it and make use of it? So,
Right.
money laundering, which is what it ultimately is, became a major concern for regulators in the US and in the region in that period. And out of that has come a range of regulations, all of which impact the region as a whole, starting, of course, with the US and all of us here in the Caribbean and elsewhere in the hemisphere. In fact, as we say, when the US sneezes, the
Sneeze.
rest of the region catches a
A
catches a
cold.
cold. Eh?
Yep.
So, as for the Jamaican case, we have really just had to fall in line with the regulations and the mandates of the US financial system.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, what you see in the Jamaican financial sector in terms of the due diligence that banks have to perform on their clients is driven out of that dynamic, that whole development of particularly rigid external oversight of the client onboarding process,
Right.
where clients no longer have any degree of anonymity anymore. You have to make full declaration of who you are, where you live, and all of their pertinent details in order to do business in banks in the region. So that is the world in which we live. That's the space in which we operate. And so there was a time when banks were happy to take your money, no questions asked.
Right.
But given the risk of massive financial sanctions, including losing your banking privileges and all of that, banks, particularly banks, more vulnerable states, the Caribbean, etc., have become very wary about how they onboard new clients and are very diligent about the mechanisms that are in place to safeguard their client database to ensure that persons who do business with them are clean and above board as far as is possible, of course.
All right. So going back to this situation here with this man, this Wichita born man, this US
Right,
born man. The Bank of America said it was
right,
standard practice to ask about citizen status when opening a new account or updating customer information on an existing one. Like all financial institutions, we're required by law to maintain complete and accurate records for all our customers and may periodically request information such as country of citizenship and proof of U.S. residency. This type of outreach is nothing new, Bank of America said in a statement on July 28th. The information must be up to date, and therefore we periodically reach out to our customers, which is what we did in this case. Now, those of you tuned in on the US side, if you want to reach out and share your comments, your views, 773-789-STEW gets you in touch. 773-789-7839 or 773-789-STEW. Real quick and easy. You can call, you can text. I will see it. I will respond accordingly. But so here it is. They're saying that they no, I shouldn't say regularly, periodically send out information. For my listeners who are or have been involved in banking, I'd like to hear from you guys, or involved in the financial industry in the US. I'd like to hear from you guys with what you know about this particular position that banks take. They said it's standard practice. But for whatever reason, this doesn't seem so standard because these people have never gotten any sort of request for information like that. Banking in Jamaica, Owen, do they periodically ask for this type of information?
It is a requirement that each applicant for an account in Jamaican banks declare their full biographic data, meaning their age, date of birth, place of birth, and of course, current residence and source of income. And that's not unusual. It also requires that you declare not so much your nationality as much as where your tax obligations lie. And given the requirement for identification and proof thereof, invariably your nationality comes out because it very often requires you to present some form of national identification, driver's license, passport in some cases is what persons present, which of course would speak to nationality and place of birth, that kind of thing. So that's after 20 odd years of this practice in banks, most Jamaicans would have been exposed to this reality, having to make these declarations to open bank accounts and do business with banks.
But does the bank periodically? No, this is an existing account holder, so they've been doing business with the bank for a while.
Right.
Does the bank in Jamaica send out periodically information requesting this type of information for their existing? Yes. What about other banks in the region? You know of other banks in the region doing the same thing?
For the most part, most of the region, certainly the English-speaking Caribbean, operates in that way. In that the entities that are operating in most of these countries are either large international banks that have taken space in those locations, in those countries, in those Caribbean regions,
right? Or
where there are local banks, they're heavily dependent on an international bank for their correspondent banking relationships. So for them to make payments in a foreign country, the United States, for instance, those banks have to have banking relationships with US banks.
Right.
So your bank has to have a bank. And as a result, those ultimate banks, the American banks, have requirements of their Caribbean banking partners that make it necessary for those Caribbean and other regional banks to maintain their client database at a certain level. And so it's really not unusual for banks to do ongoing due diligence of their existing client database and from time to time to seek to update the data that they have on their clients, including reaching out to existing clients to say, hey, up to now, all we have for you is a name and an address. Kindly provide us with these additional bits of information.
All right. So
So, not unusual.
they ask periodically throughout the life of the account holder or the life of the account.
Right. Yes.
When they don't get this kind of information, what is the course of action that is taken by the financial institution?
It's very much on which information it is. And because of course different types of information carry different weight and significance. And it's particularly in a situation where it can be potentially confirmed by a secondary source. So, for instance, if what you're seeking is a person's date of birth,
Mm-hmm.
it may very well be available through a public record. That information may very well be available through some other public means. With it.
Right.
So that may not be a deal breaker for a financial institution. But what we find happens to be very rigidly enforced is things like source of income. So if we see you bringing in large sums of monies into your account, having initially told us that you're a carpenter working as a tradesman, but we see you bringing in thousands and thousands of dollars, which don't correlate with what we would expect somebody doing your job. And I'm not picking on carpenters by any means.
Right.
Um, but where the sum of money is out of line with what you have declared your income source to be, or you're doing transactions at a frequency which is not consistent with what we anticipate your frequency and value should be given your known source of income, then those are very often reasons for putting a hold on the account. So you don't have access to the funds on the account, certainly not until you satisfy the bank in respect of these things that it is asking.
But that position that the bank chooses to take. Let me ask you this one question before we take our little break. We have a break here at the bottom of the hour. When is that position mandated by the government? Is that a across the board as it relates to the financial institutions, whatever bylaws they're governed by under the state? Is that a law that says they need to collect this information?
Right. So in Jamaica, there are a number of pieces of legislation that have come out in recent years. The most recent of which is the Proceeds of Crime Act, along with other and regulations to it. But the Proceeds of Crime Act make it absolutely clear that a bank must know his and her customer. A banker must know who his customer is, and by knowing him, it requires that you have all of the relevant data about his sources of income and other biodata related to their client. So yes, it is required by law that the bank must know all of this that is being. So it's expressed in different ways. As I said, it comes out by means of asking for ID and references and so on.
Right.
But ultimately, the bank is required to build up a profile of each of its clients so that the regulators can see that you know where your funds, where your clients' funds are coming from, or within reasonable limits and expectations, and also that you are at the macro level now. You have a sufficiently robust framework of safeguarding the bank from being taken over by somebody who's doing illegal activity.
All right. We're going to take a quick little break. Thank you. Don't go anywhere, Owen. I know I can get to keep you around for just a little bit longer tonight. I'm going to
Sure.
share what the position is, as according to this article, what the position is in the U.S., according to the California Bankers Association. So, a little bit of information, a little bit more information for you. We'll be right back after these few messages.
Policy Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Policy Media Group.
Are you crazy about the music industry? You aspire to hit it big in music? Or maybe you've sweated out a soulful killer beat and are now stuck finding it's not as easy as it looked. Oh, but it can be easy for you with JTMC. We've been there. We know how it feels. So we solve challenges like production, promotion, marketing, branding and development, and more. With over 30 years of experience, JTMC is a one-stop shop for artists. We handle your graphic design, writing services, PR, as well as event planning, e-blasts, artist management and bookings, so also your website and social media needs as well. We're experts in using creativity to persuade audiences on behalf of artists, drawing on our diverse experience to create projects that connect with audiences intellectually and emotionally. Artist success is everything to us, and our years of experience and commitment will be behind you for every one of your needs. If you've got music for the world to hear, whether you're a new or established artist, visit us at jtmcenterprise.com.
I'm in almost every school bus in class. You see me around the neighborhood and you tell me that I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm one out of every 5 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger.
Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help.
Every dollar you donate helps provide 8 meals for kids like me. We are Feeding America, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The award-winning Palace Peace and Love Academic Scholarship is appealing for your support to help educate one student at a time in Jamaica and the Caribbean.
Palace awarded 492 scholarships and several computers to university and high school students in Jamaica and the Caribbean over the past 7 years, valued at approximately 33 million Jamaican dollars, $250,000 US.
Importantly, our university graduates to date include 15 medical doctors, 10 lawyers, 6 engineers, and 15 fine arts students. Our goal is to award at least 105 scholarships in 2018.
Please partner with us to make this a reality for those well-deserving, hard-working students by making a tax-deductible donation online at www.palaceone.org
or send a check to Palace P.O. Box 5461, Alpharetta, Georgia 30023 USA, or telephone 770-744-2154.
Palace, preserving young minds for posterity.
Yes. Akar Mantino, I'm making notes right now. You are locked in to DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift.
One love, separate yourself from grudge. Most I give me the inspiration to spread. You can buy your way to Zion. Look at your careless piece of iron that no worth more than my foot or my hand. No man no better than non-stop categorized. And not because you're rich and have to survive. Money is not all, money is not all. No man no better than non-stop categorized. And not because you're rich and have to survive. Money is not all, money is not all. Because you up champagne and you're no better than get a youths down a pain land. Cut me on, same blood, we're the same man. But you your shades mark Ray-Ban and mine are the fake one. You was call me for shaken. You block me, block we're from the same nation. But we have two different situations. You are the boss and me got the youth and the accumulation. Tell me when we are gonna show we brothers and sisters love without having the material things. Stop reading damn blings. The love they no genuine. Cause you put vanity over everything. No man no better than non-stop categorized. And not because you're rich and have to survive. Cause money is not all, money is not all. No man no better than
the sound of Jamil.
And not because you're rich and have to survive.
The track is called Money Is Not All.
Not all. Yeah, silver and gold will vanish away, but your real bad charge is here to stay.
If you're just tuning in, I want to welcome you to the show. It's a night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Tonight, it's Community and Finance Night. And we have the privilege of having Owen Ferguson hang out with us a little bit longer than normal.
I
want to say thank you to GMAT Music Solutions for sponsoring this segment of the show. Bringing music to life, GMAT Music Solutions provides you with audio for your live event. Whether it be just some speakers, a mixer, an engineer, an MC, lighting for your stage. GMAC Solutions got you. 754-307 GMAC gets you in touch at 754-307-4622.
It's not done non-stop categorized. And not because you're rich enough to survive. Money is not all, money is not all.
So, in the midst of all of this, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about. Oh, let me get Owen back in here. I know you're waiting in the wings, Owen. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm here, man. No problems.
All right. So before we went off on the break, I had asked Owen what course of action the bank in Jamaica and in the region, the English-speaking region, as far as he knows, would what kind of action they would take when requesting information as it relates to citizenship of the account holders if they don't receive this information. As it relates to the case in here that sparked this whole conversation with Josh Collins, the California Bankers Association, which is the largest state affiliate of the National Association, according to them, questions of citizenship are not federally required. Not to our knowledge. And this was what spokeswoman Beth Mills said in an interview. She said federal law requires banks must obtain and verify only four things about account holders: name, date of birth, residential address, and social security number. Other federally chartered banks, including Wells Fargo, ask citizenship questions when some new deposit accounts are opened. The U.S. Department of the Treasury increasingly is urging financial institutions to collect as much information on customers as possible, including citizenship status, and to update often. The department says stepped up identification efforts are needed partly to ward against the laundering of money that flows through foreign countries, just like you had said earlier. However, Owen, they're saying that it is not required by the federal government. But as of May this year, banks were required to have plans for implementing a phased-in initiative called the Customer Identification Program, which dates to a provision of the U.S. Patriot Act. And the program allows each bank discretion to collect and verify information appropriate for its size and type of business. But still, the U.S. Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, which regulates national banks, says the information need not include account holders' countries of citizenship. And under federal regulation, bankers must form a reasonable belief that it knows the true identity of each customer and have processes in place to develop a customer risk profile according to an OCC statement. Now, we have a call. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to the show.
I just wanted to chime in a little bit on what's going on. I kind of missed the first part of the show, but from listening for the last few minutes, I kind of gathered what the topic is about. But even though that article that you just read about the four pieces of information that the federal government requires banks to obtain from their depositors.
Yes.
Another thing, and this has been since 9/11, is terrorist financing is one of the precautions that banks need to guard against when they are opening accounts where they ask about the citizenship of the depositor.
Okay. But in the case of this article, they're saying that the account holder is an existing account holder. It's not a new account holder. So this is not a new account.
But they did also say in the article, because, and I guess I should put it out there that I am a former banker. I was in banking for 30 years. I since retired. But even existing account holders, when the bank is looking at certain transactions, if it's something out of the ordinary that you do, that the depositor does, it's going to put up a red flag is going to go up, and the department that monitors that information, they're going to send out a simple request to verify certain information. And if that information is not provided within the time allotted, then of course they're going to freeze the account, because how else they're going to get the depositor's attention to let them know that, hey, listen, this information is needed to verify whatever transactions that caused that red flag to go up. So did it say in the article what if did it ever reveal what caused the bank to request this information or to question the account owner's citizenship?
Well, that's just it. They said they just randomly got a letter asking for proof of citizenship. And apparently nothing about Josh or Jessica said foreign national, other than the fact that Jessica is Latina. She's of Latin descent, and her grandparents, actually her great grandparents, had settled in Kansas. So you're talking about 3 generations at this point.
Yeah, but that's not what I don't think that the nationality of the person may have been what triggered it. What I'm saying is
what triggered them
did not
sending.
reveal. Right. What triggered the bank to all of a sudden this is an existing account holder? Something must have triggered the bank to request or to verify information, because I've seen it multiple times over my career at the bank where, innocent, legitimate people, they go to work like you and I, and they're doing their normal transaction. They get their payroll, they deposit it to the bank, they pay their bills, they have their mortgages, they have their cards.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you start having abnormal transactions, meaning that you starting to have large deposits into the account. It could be a legitimate transaction. However, it is outside of your normal transaction. So, of course, it's going to pop. A red flag is going to pop up. Something as simple as wire transfers. Buying cashier's checks or money orders or, things like that. If that is not something that you do on a regular basis, it is going to put up a red flag.
Okay, cool. I get that. Owen.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, I thought I lost you. All right. So you've been hearing
Actually, no, Kevin. I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage. I'm not hearing the caller at all.
Oh, I wish you had said something. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, sorry, man. I'm not hearing the caller.
Okay. Miss Fancy, say something else.
I'm sorry?
Can you hear her now?
Yes, I heard that.
Okay, great. Are you hearing Owen? Miss Fancy?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Owen, say good evening to Miss Fancy. You had a greeting in the chat room, so people put your name out there, Miss Fancy.
Man, as much as I try to disguise my voice.
Good luck. All right, so Owen is hearing you. Owen, are you hearing Owen? Owen,
No,
say
I'm
something.
hearing, and she can't disguise her voice, no. Go ahead.
All right, so you should be hearing Owen now.
No, I'm not.
Well, he's not saying anything. Owen, so...
Oh, no, so... Can you repeat the question? Maybe I can...
Okay, so she was saying that her experience in banking she has seen where people have been normally doing their business with the bank, and it is something abnormal that sends up a flag that now prompts them to confirm information about the account holder. Is this typical the case with banking in Jamaica?
Yes, it happens that way quite a bit. At the outset of starting a relationship, the bank will usually ask some information of the client to set the parameters within which both the bank and the customer expect the account to operate. So if you come in and say, this is going to be my savings account,
Right.
I'm going to save $100 a month, then that's the expectation, and that's what we call the projected transaction level.
Mm-hmm.
If having projected $100, you then come in next month with 2,500, and the following week you come in with 5,000, then yes, it's going to send off some red flags, and some questions are going to be asked. So that's not unusual for transaction-based monitoring to occur.
Right.
And for parties to be asked to validate their source, and to really just assure the bank that the source is a legitimate source.
Okay. You heard that, right, Miss Fancy?
Yes, I did.
Excellent.
And I'm not sure if because Owen wasn't hearing what I was saying at the beginning. Ever since 9/11, the banks have been diligent about finding out about the source of money because of potential terrorist financing.
Right.
Because that was something that was written into the anti-money laundering policies. I'm not sure if it was written by the federal regulators or if it was written by the banking executives, but it was written into the AML laws.
Right. Correct.
So,
if I'm not mistaken, I believe it certainly began as an aspect of the Patriot Act, if I recall, that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
But as I might have said earlier, I'm not sure if Ms. Fancy was listening at the time, that know your customer and anti-money laundering concerns preceded and predated 9/11. Granted, 9/11 would have given it a significant fillip. And now there was a real bogeyman that you wanted to control, the possibility of terrorist funding.
Right.
And of course, that would then have spurred the momentum for greater regulations throughout the industry, yes.
So, as it relates to this particular case, the couple's bank card, their check card, was rejected, and they contacted the bank, and then they showed up in person at a branch, and the worker's computer screen showed a little red flag near Josh's name, and the word citizenship was beside the flag. And they asked Josh for his driver license. He presented it, and then they unfroze the account.
Right.
So,
all right. So again, none of that is strange. As much as I'm no expert in the law of that particular state, everything you described is consistent with how banks, certainly in Jamaica, function as well. We put what we call a compliance hold on the account, or red flag in this case, until the information you require to validate the account is presented. And once that's presented, you're free to go and your account is reactivated.
Now, as it relates to another article, this time, so that was pretty much sorted out, and anybody wanting more information, you can really go search for it. It's a case where Bank of America asked for information of a Kansas resident, a citizen, really. Now, back in 2017, the U.S. actually sued a Vancouver dual citizen for not reporting accounts. You mentioned the reporting of accounts earlier, Owen. And here's a case now where a U.S. Canadian dual citizen was sued for not reporting money, that an account that he had in Canada. Does the bank in Jamaica have a policy or a position as it relates to dual citizenship and foreign accounts? The
All right.
reporting,
So
or I should say the reporting
yes, so
of.
the reporting of those accounts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the U.S. federal government in the great matter failing me now, but in the mid 2000s came out with regulations that governed its citizens who had accounts outside of the U.S. Of course, that was a period in which the U.S. was very, very concerned and sensitive about funds being held in offshore accounts by U.S. citizens.
Right.
And so, right, and so the U.S. federal government came out with regulations which pushed to external banks that had accounts for U.S. citizens, in fact, for U.S. persons who are either citizens or resident or otherwise have long-term connections with the United States, and required that such accounts be declared to U.S. federal tax authorities now. So this, as much as up to now we've been talking about anti-money laundering and counter-financing of terrorism regulation, this particular push has more to do, certainly came out of a concern about tax evasion, and is more to do with American persons, U.S. persons, concealing income and accounts held in accounts outside of the U.S. So in Jamaica, for instance, every person who's connected to the U.S., I notice I'm using that term rather than saying citizen,
right?
Because it doesn't stop at mere citizens; it includes residents as well, and others who are long-term, I suppose, residents, but perhaps may operate under not just a green card, but some other status, or operate businesses in the U.S. Those persons are required to make declarations to the U.S. tax authorities about accounts held in
Jamaica.
In Jamaica, for example. Yes.
But is the reverse also in place? Do residents in Jamaica having U.S. accounts, do they have to report it to Jamaican banks?
Don't give anybody any ideas, okay? But no. No, that's not the case.
I just have to ask, because it seems like, and I could be wrong, but a lot of these policies that are put in place in the U.S. only apply to the U.S. But that may be for another show.
Well,
I don't know, but that seems to be pretty much the position or the case.
Yeah.
Now, as it relates to this article, U.S. citizens, including dual citizens, with signing authority over non-American bank accounts are required to report them, along with the highest amount in the account during the year, on a form called a Report of Foreign Bank and Financial Accounts, or FBAR.
Right. Correct.
Miss Fancy, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Have you had any cause for using such a report, whether it be on the receiving end or giving out the information that your account holder may need to deal with one of these? Use one.
No, not the local branches. There are departments that would take care of that, releasing that type of information if we ever received a request for it. But yeah, the majority of it has to do with the tax reporting when it comes to the U.S. bank account holders. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Giving information about their foreign bank accounts.
So, Uncle Sam alone must collect.
That's what it seems like.
I'm not trying to give anybody any ideas, Owen. Just letting it be known. But I have to ask the question because that seems to be the case. Vancouver-based cross-border tax lawyer by the name of Max Reed says, to my knowledge, this is one of the first actions of enforcement of F-bar penalties against a Canadian resident U.S. or a Canadian resident U.S. citizen. The accounts include 2 with CIBC and 1 with RBC. Documents filed with the U.S. federal court in Seattle gave that information. And the penalty is purely not for reporting accounts, not for taxes owing, or penalties for unpaid taxes.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. The penalty is purely for not reporting. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Taxes,
yeah, so they're saying, okay, this guy has an account in a foreign land, just like you were saying, where they're potentially earning. Now, what of the little man that leaves the little island of Jamaica, the little island in the sun, comes to the U.S. and is now a resident, not just a citizen, but a resident, and they may have had, for argument's sake, a savings account and a credit union account. They're not working in Jamaica anymore. They're in the U.S. So if they're in the U.S. and working, and they send money back to Jamaica to put into these accounts, they're required to report on those accounts in the U.S.? Is that how that works? Any of you can answer.
Yeah, they're required to report their accounts, and of course they're required to report the income from those accounts in order to interest that you have earned as part of their regular tax filing. So it's not just to report the account, but also to report the income from it. So if the account is naturally is earning interest, then one would expect to see that as part of the personal income tax filings that individual makes. That's part of the provisions of FATCA. FATCA requires that once you're a U.S. person, you must declare these accounts that you have outside of the U.S.
You see, that's one of the things that bothers me, because here it is. Right. If I am that person, I am here in the U.S. working. That money is taxed. I take that already taxed money and send it to Jamaica, because when I take my vacation in Jamaica, I want to know that I already have money down there. I'd have to walk with a bag of money. And I have to report that for it to get taxed again.
Right.
That's not cool.
Well, it may not be subject to taxes. That question would have to be answered by a tax professional.
Okay, so that's what I was looking for.
Right, just because you're reporting it, because you've already paid taxes on it, you may find out that you won't be subjected to pay additional taxes.
But what about the interest? Well, let's say it has gained enough interest. I've been doing this for 10 years, haven't been able to go and use it, and it has acquired a certain amount of taxes. I mean,
what do you mean?
Sorry, not taxes, interest. It has accrued a certain amount of interest.
Right.
the potential is there for the interest to get taxed.
That's a possibility.
And I guess the argument there would be, well, the the initial amount was already taxed. This is taxes on the interest. I guess I can't argue with such
But that's
such
income.
reasoning.
Yeah, that's income
Yeah.
that you would otherwise be required to pay taxes on. So
Right,
yeah.
right, right. What interests me though, when I come across information like this, is that doesn't happen with all foreign accounts, because the well-off to-dos, when they're doing offshore banking, they would bank in a place like Switzerland. So you hear people
Yeah.
talk about having these offshore Swiss accounts,
Right.
but
Well, maybe
Well,
maybe they're
I can tell you
subjected to
that
the
that's
same
exactly what
laws.
I was.
okay, hold on, Owen. What was that, Miss
Mr.
Fancy?
Nomad.
No, I was saying maybe those Swiss banks are not subjected to the same laws as other banks in other countries.
There we go. That is it right there. Owen, what were you saying?
Yeah, so I was making the point that FATCA was designed to reach out to those countries that those accounts are held in, except that it's not binding in every jurisdiction. And my suspicion is Switzerland, I need to check this, is not caught in under the FATCA net at all.
Mm.
But certainly small vulnerable states like Jamaica and these other Caribbean countries, being as subservient to the U.S. economy as it is, we're very vulnerable to the large U.S. trader that it is, and as such, our accounts held by U.S. persons here are declared, and I should point out that it's the obligation to declare is not just on the part of the customer, but also on the part of the bank.
The bank in the
So
foreign
banks are
country?
are required to report their clients who are U.S. persons and who have accounts with them.
That is interesting. I didn't know that. Now, according to this information here, failure to file an F bar comes with penalties. And if the failure to file the form is deemed to be willful, the account holder can be fined $100,000 or 50% of the value of the account, whichever is greater. And this is per year, per account. So it's not just a one fine. Per account, per year, you could be fined $100,000 or 50%, whichever is greater. Non-willful failures also get fined, and they're capped at 10,000 US dollars per account per year. That's a lot of money for what could be a simple savings account in a foreign country. That's a lot of money to get fined. But I guess it's not really for the little man. It's for the big man with the big money.
Right. I have some dollar thresholds involved. So while everything is required for reporting, it is not the case that every dollar is going to, meet additional taxation. So while the institutions are required to make these disclosures, it doesn't necessarily impact every account of every client.
Well, for those who are listening and don't know, the U.S. requires citizens, including dual citizens, to file tax returns no matter where they live in the world. So, just so that you know, selling a house and putting the money in a bank account puts the value of the house into a penalty calculation. And moving that money around between different accounts, all that does is multiplies it, as each dollar is counted several times. It's the same dollar, but you move it 4 times and that is counted as $4. So, people, I guess it makes sense to do this filing. Now, as you'll be moving your money around all over. But these are things that we don't often become aware of. And we don't often talk about it. But this case here has shed some light on some things. And I would encourage anybody to go about doing their due diligence as it relates to if you're living in the US and have accounts with your name outside of the US, go ahead and look about filing your FBAR. And if you're a US resident living in a foreign country, you might want to make sure you report your foreign assets, to the United States, because it could cost you a pretty penny.
That's right.
I know you gotta go, Owen. Miss Fancy, thank you very much for your information. Has been proved as usual. You've been very helpful in these financial matters. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Owen, real quick, contact information if anybody needs you to deal with some of these issues.
Yeah. All right, sure. So my email address, Owen K Ferguson @hotmail.com. My telephone 876-840-5862. And that's both voice as well as WhatsApp messaging.
Right. Want to thank you again, Owen, for your extended period tonight. It was very enlightening, and you confirmed some questions that we had. I know some people would have been upset about the information that they came across with the bank freezing these people's accounts and saying that because of the current administration, now you have immigrants being targeted by banks and such. But these are things that have been on the books for a very long time. It's not just now. So it is apparently not a case of targeting, but a case of, I would say, tightening the reins. Filling the gaps, making sure that some of these things don't get slipped along the way. So, I thank you for confirming some of these questions and issues, Owen. Thank you also, Miss Fancy. Oh.
Yeah, no problem, Kev. No, not a problem.
Looks like she went away. All right.
No, she did not. She muted it so there will be no background noise.
Oh, okay. What's going on in your background? All right, don't answer that. On grounds that it may incriminate you. Thank you, Owen. Catch you next week.
All right. Yeah, man.
Give my love to the family.
Well done, brother.
All right, take care. Miss Fancy, thank you very much. Have yourself a great evening.
You as well. Good night, everyone.
I want to thank JTMC Enterprise for sponsoring this segment of the Night Shift Community and Finance, being the theme that we focus on a Monday night. Thank you very much. It's 18 minutes after the hour. And guess what? We are going to have an extended musical therapy. Why? Because we can. And once again, thanks to JTMC for sponsoring this segment of the show. One of the officers of JTMC celebrated her birthday, her Earth date, last week, and I had the privilege of playing some music for her over the weekend, which contributes to my oh so long weekend. And big ups to Melissa, celebrating all month, because that's what we do, right? Yeah. Out the sounds of Sweetie Irie and Scooby. It's called Money Honey.
Oh, you have some girl that go around like they want beg money, you know. All of me. Come, woman, yeah, beg her money. I mean, that is Scooby. Scooby.
She's a money lover. 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 She likes expensive things, like those diamond rings. The way she does her hair, the perfume that she wears. She's looking oh so sweet. She loves money.
Woman, we both come give me the money, honey. Come give me the money, honey. Come give me the money, honey, honey. Come give me the money. Long time I love you, baby, but you not give me the money. You the body caught me, did not let me even to the movie. His name is Daddy Scooby. My name is Sweetie Irie. And when we come in a dance, we get up in the lady. Come give me the money, honey. Come give me the money, honey. Come give me the money, honey, honey. Come give me the money.
She's a money lover. 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 She likes to travel around the world with all those glamorous girls looking oh so sweet from head to feet. There is only one thing. She loves money. She loves money. Yeah, just can't get enough.
Of what, girl?
She just falls in love with money.
Sweet boy, she says she wants some jewelry. Come give me the money, honey, French coat, panty. Come give me the money, honey, blouse and jewelry. Come give me the money, honey, we work hard for me teach you money. Me nah go take my money and give no lady, but if me I give a lady, yeah, that's me granny, me mama, and me sister, and me auntie, me all. Come give me the money, honey. Come give me the money, honey. Come give me the money, honey, honey. Come give me the money.
She's a money lover. She's a money lover. She's a money lover.
Big up the girl them with them own a money. But you own a things and not fi beg nobody. Big up the girl them where you work for them own and I bring the money home, yeah, yeah. The money making girl, the money run the world.
This is Son of Conscience.
Yeah, she no join the talk, in the lippin', just sit down like I'm flipping money, dip on her mind from
It's called She Loves Money.
the money making girl, the money run the world, and she have to run piece of that. She not in the last one,
20 minutes after the hour, it's our musical therapy.
She tell me she's a money maker, and she have to reach before she meet the maker. So she learn to crush the road like a soldier, specializing how to make the profit roll over. Money she a free from she was a little toddler. That's why she hustle every day like a gangster. Not bring no friend, she not look no sponsor. I just a green thing that she responds for. She's a money making girl, a money run the world, and she have to run piece of that. She no join the talk, in the lippin', just sit down like I'm flipping money dip on her mind from the beginning. She tell me she's a money making girl, a money run the world, and she have to run piece of that. She not in the laugh and joke, some girl can't survive out a road without a friend stand up near to them. Some can't survive without a man to take care of them. But you no plan for your best sponge pan. Now one me girl you broke last year, you now go broke for this year again. Ambitious woman enough to big up for yourself. Each man nobody you go look it for yourself. If I'm money you a pray, not beg not afraid. Show up for no one's make me say. Yeah, this a money making girl, a money run the world. She have to run piece of that. Run the world. She no join the talk, in the lippin', just sit down like I'm flipping money. She tell me she's a money making girl, a money run the world. She have to run piece of that. She not in the last man joking. She the paper falling. Yo, she tell me she's a money maker, and she have to rich before she meet the maker. So she learn to crush the road like a soldier, specializing out to make the profit roll over. Only she got free from she was a little toddler. That's why she hustle every day like a gangster. Not like the friend like girl and all look no sponsor. I just the brain thing, the money printing. Me tell her she's a money.
Yeah, man, I see I feel what is representing DJ Kevin Stew.
Just
the mercy of the most high can't carry through.
Best believe. 24 minutes after the hour. It's our musical therapy segment.
Stew dedicate this to all of the hustlers. All the street side peddlers. You know, you got to stay alive.
It's on a Phil Watkins.
Means to survive. Stew dedicate this to all of the hustlers. All of the street side peddlers. You know, you got to stay alive. Got to make your means to survive. You could hustle in the market with oranges in the basket. Bills we pay, money is we want it. Murder poverty, whoa, that's the target. We want my life sweet like chocolate. Hear the nuts man, he ma come down the street. Hear the nuts can't get a whistle so sweet. To him a ball of nuts, me say it's so unique. Stew grab a ital fi eat. Kevin dedicate this to all of the hustlers. All of the street side peddlers. You know, you got to stay alive. Got to make your means to survive. Kevin dedicate this to all of the hustlers. All of the street side peddlers. You know, you got to stay alive. Got to make your means to survive. DJs still fight, this a struggle.
Best believe.
To get out a rubble. So we stay on the hustle. Do we little juggle. Say we not create no trouble. Juggle, we a juggle.
Day in and day out.
Got to make our means of survival. Yes, we have to got to make our means to survive. We got to create our means of survival. You lock down the factory, no opportunities. This one dedicated to all of the hustlers. All the street side peddlers. You know, you got to stay alive. Got to create your means to survive. This one dedicated to all of the hustlers. All the street side peddlers. You know, you got to stay alive. Got to make your means to survive.
Hero again. I am ready. So are you ready? I am ready.
Reaching out to all my hustlers.
Man is mine. Are you ready?
This is Little Hero.
Are you ready to make man is mine? From the city, we born as a hustler. From the city, we born as a hustler. From the city, we born as a hustler. As a hustler, as a hustler. Boy, from the city, we born as a hustler. From the city, we born as a hustler. From the city, we born as a hustler. As a hustler, as a hustler. From me man out of me mother, you me have to work hard. So me got 3 sisters, me have to burn hard. You little bikini, big up in a one yard. Oh God, the wicked on my yard. And people watch us on Sunday, cause we believe in a God. Don't respect to we family, we live up in a broad. Who send a little something when the thing get hard. Oh God, the wicked on my yard. From the city, born as a hustler. From the city, we born as a hustler. From the city, we born as a hustler. As a hustler, as a hustler. Boy, from the city, we born as a hustler. From the city, we born as a hustler. From the city, we born as a hustler. As a hustler, as a hustler. Pick up the real hustler, them who know what I mean. Hustler who hustler, fulfill them dream. Hustle down a Brooklyn, hustle down a Queen. We hustle and a run from police, I read. Cause then we hustle for the president, hustle for the queen. We don't hustle by the day, cause we blessed with the green. We hustle in
in a Christmas and dress up like Halloween. We not come but come and be tambourine. From the city, born as a hustler. From the city, we born as a hustler. From the city, we born as a hustler. As a hustler, as a hustler. From the city, we born as a hustler. From the city, we born as a hustler. From the city, we born as a hustler. As a hustler. Just tell me poor man, say, I said not gonna make you one day. All you have to do is just pray, and one day is our day. Poor mama say, we have to make you one day. All you have to do is just pray, and one day is our day. When they did I grow up, you with your little weak stomach could have throw up. Times gets hard, me nearly give up. But one of me girl them tell me say me woulda blow up. Right now I'm living the life when me dream, living it up when me take. Trusting on myself.
Are you living it up? Are you living your life that you dreamed of?
Living the life when me dream.
Just remember, when you start doing it, there are certain things you need to put in place, yeah?
Nobody tell you say you can't touch it. We live a happy life, nice life, sweet life, good life. Money start make everything just a run right.
Here you go, hashtag happy. One more for you. It's called Happy Life. This is Ding Dong.
I white God records. My life, my life.
I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight. Thank you for your participation. You can still contribute to the show. Chat room is available, kevinstew.com. Phone line and text line is open. 773-789-STEW. We're gonna take a quick break. Come back with the Wake Up and Live segment. That's the Wake Up and Live sponsored segment. I have a little bit of new music for you.
Every weekend me and the team upon a flight. Who red eye we got to take them side. Right now I'm living the life of my dream, living it up when the take. Trusting on myself me believe. Nobody tell us say you can't touch it.
Once again, congratulations to the contestants in the Miss Jamaica Florida competition.
Living it up when the take. Nobody tell us.
You all did wonderfully, beautifully even.
Me make no, me no eat that. Me no eat that. Me no eat that. See the ghost on the
But 4 young ladies in particular, they got to live, got to start living the life that they dreamed of. Wearing the sash of Miss Jamaica, Miss Jamaica Florida, Miss Teen Jamaica Florida, Little Miss Jamaica Florida. Which category am I leaving out?
Trusting on myself, me believe. Nobody tell us say you can't touch it. Living the life when me dream. Trusting on myself, me believe. Living it up when me take. Nobody tell us say you can't touch it. Man, I live the life in a real life. Man, I live the life.
Gotta take a quick little break when we come back. The Wake Up and Live sponsored segment, closing out the night shift.
Fight for this.
Closing out the musical therapy segment. Don't go anywhere. New music coming at you later on. Well, in just a few moments.
I'm living the life when me dream. Living it up when me take. Trusting on myself, me believe. Nobody tell us say you can't touch it. Living the life when me dream. Trusting on myself, me believe. Living it up when me take. Nobody tell us say you can't touch it.
ATMC Music presents the highly anticipated, much talked about, the Juggling Rhythm Volume 1. This classic rhythm takes on a new life with tracks from both established artists and introduces some incredible new voices. Get your dancing shoes ready with the Juggling Rhythm, featuring international reggae dancehall artist Mr. Vegas, alongside Ian Sweetness, Ed Robinson, Jack Radix, Hezron, Dangling, Joanna Marie featuring Galaxy B, Denny Rants featuring Jawiz, Amber Leak, Christine Alicia, Yishka. Also the new sensations on the rhythm. Zeal, Danger Lee, Marquis Skelenar, Zachary. Available on all digital media outlets. The Juggling Rhythm. Get it, get it, get it.
Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
We're off to an early start for a long hot summer, but beat the heat with a dash of lemongrass refresher. This cool thirst quencher is a low sugar beverage made from the fever grass plant, which has antioxidants, several wellness properties, and is a great lifestyle drink for all ages. Ah, that hits the spot. It's a new great taste. Have one today. Dash Lemongrass Refresher, distributed by Carib Atlantic Distributors. Call 954-614-0919. That's 954-614-0919. Life's a dash. Live well.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
It's Christine representing for DJ Kevin. You see me, I say, I don't know the boss. You see me, I say, DJ Kevin Stew and the night shift radio show. Yo, the thing, turn up the thing loud. Whoa, DJ Kevin Stew at the heart of a champion. Never underestimate, just choose him. The silver line behind the dark clouds. DJ Kevin Stew believe him, and that's no doubt. Salute the night shift radio show, Christine. This is a hot it up. Loud. Kill the beast.
Chicka bow wow, a long time chicka bow, and I just know chicka bow shaka power. You are the first one who tell us about it, but none of us never did a read between the lines when the man said chicka bow. Chick, 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 sexy chicka bow.
This is son of DYCR kicking off the home stretch of the musical therapy segment, brought to you courtesy of the Wake Up and Live show. Mr. Rockwell gives us a Wake Up and Live show tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. all being well, Eastern time, until 11.
But I hear that the naughty get himself a beautiful chick, and they went into a room and they came out after a while. And the
this is new music from DYCR. It's called Chicka Bow.
Chicka Bow Wow, a long time Chicka Bow, and I just know Chicka Bow Shaka Power.
Chicka Bow, Chicka Bow, Chicka Bow, wow, wow.
The lines when the man said Chicka Bow, chick, 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 sexy Chicka Bow. Chick, 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 hot Chicka Bow. Chick, 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 sexy Chicka Bow.
Thank you, Marlon, for sending me this.
Chick, 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 hot chick.
You know I like the controversy.
I don't know if it is a lying trick, but I hear that the naughty get himself a beautiful chick, and they went into a room and they came out after a while, and the naughty said chicka bow, chicka bow, chicka bow, wow, wow. Me say a long time chicka bow, like a long time Chinese a play pick a power. Me say a long time chicka bow, chicka bow, chicka bow, wow, wow. Like a long time Chinese a play pick a pow, wow, wow. Chicken a bow to the corner of the south, chicken bow to the plow, blow, wow. Bow, wow. Chicken bow to the plow like that, chow, wow, wow. Chick, chick, chick.
been so long since I heard a grown person say blow. Wow.
Chick, 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 sexy chick-a-bow. Chick-a-bow, chick-a-bow. Chick, 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 hot chick-a-bow. Chick-a-bow, 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 wow, wow. Me say a long time chick-a-bow, like a long time Chinese a play pick-a-bow. Me say a long time chick-a-bow, 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 wow, wow. Like a long time Chinese a play pick-a-bow, pick-a-bow, pow, pow. You know, hear John Wall say, some other guys may put her down, but she's gonna wear my crown. Him say I'm gonna wear you to the ballroom tonight. And you know hear where you rise, say tell you about it. Like say a long time you not tell John Holt. Say chick-a-bow, you know hear where the man say, it's good baby, it's good. Chick, 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 sexy chick-a-bow. Main chick-a-bow, side chick-a-bow. Chick, 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 hot chick-a-bow. Why you did it when I never did it like chick, that, chick, no. Chick, chick, sexy chick-a-bow.
Heard you tell your friends a lot of things about me, trying to make me look bad. But all the rumor you must spread on the block about me.
It's the sound of Deville.
Me get mad. What are you doing?
Yeah, you don't need to go and talk about everything. Let's not air all the dirty laundry, eh?
But you just hurting yourself. No matter what you do and no matter what you say, I'm gonna be alright.
I see you caught it, Happy.
I will never do the same, cause I'm gonna be alright. I know you try to wreck my life, I'll be sure the best, yeah. I'm gonna be alright. I don't mind you think my life a misery and yours a paradise. I'm gonna be alright. You see, I heard you tell the press a lot of things about me for them to publicize a dirty love. Put a stain on my name, girl, you try to bring me shame, but just shine it like don't fall.
It's only fitting.
What you doing, girl, what you doing, yeah. Trying to.
That's right.
You did me dirty, and you got dirty in yourself.
Do me dirty.
No matter what.
Doesn't matter.
No matter what.
I'll be alright.
Gonna be alright. No matter how you wish me bad, I will never do the same. Cause I'm gonna be alright. I know you try to wreck my life, I'll be sure the best, yeah. I'm gonna be alright. I don't mean you think my life a misery and yours a paradise. I'm gonna be alright, alright. Everywhere me go, people are see me and I talk. One bugger things I track, one bugger. Me never listen what them say me just. Now they make them talk, cause they don't know what I have been through. Now, if you try to make me feel like I'm the worst one, you can try, but I will be fine. Things will get better with time. Cause no matter what you do and no matter what you say, I'm gonna be alright. No matter how you wish me bad, I will never do the same. Cause I'm gonna be alright. I know you try to wreck my life, I'll be sure the best, yeah. I'm gonna be alright. I don't mind you think my life a misery and yours a paradise. I'm gonna be alright.
And the moon gets bright and everybody in for the night. Me need some company to make the mood feel right. Someone to squeeze up tight. Me need a nice ambition, good in our dress and what's yours is mine. Me need your all access. Come make me take a ride, come make me drive out west. Are you alone? There's no contest, but until then, I'm still searching for true love. Oh, when the sun goes down and the moon gets bright and everybody.
The sound of King Charles.
Me need some company to make the mood feel.
Track called Still Searching.
Please up tight, yeah. Me need a nice empress who look good in her dress and once yours is mine. Me give you all access. Come make me take a ride, come make me drive up.
What's yours is mine.
Contest, but until then, I'm still searching for true love.
But until I find that person that I can give that all,
From above,
I'll be searching.
to be my girl, and together we rule the world, we rule the world. Come make me take a break from the up and down. Come make me take a short through Spanish town. Me are the king, so I you feel wear the second crown. Me I go pick your way up and when I come down, hey. Because of you me like, and me I sit down and I pray to make you be wife. So do me right and make sure you be right. And me I tell you how me feel on a Tuesday night. Oh, oh. I'm still searching
Let me see, I have 17 more minutes.
Are you out there? Are you out there now, girl? Tell me. So me sing again. I'm still searching for true love. Someone who said from above. No more delay. I know you run. Woman, I'm on my way to you.
King Charles says, hey, I'm still searching. Dangling says, I'm on my way with the help of Tanya Mullings.
To me, I'm hoping you don't stay away too long. Cause without your love, yo, from the very first moment I laid my eyes on you. Yeah, I noticed you were more than just a visual. I fell in love with your mind, not just a physical. Yes, each day I rise, I say a prayer for you. Yeah, I pray that you will bless and walk beside me. I truly long for the day when you're beside me. Baby girl, I adore you. Only Jah alone I never put before you. That's so true. The other girls are cool, but they won't do. They can love me like you love me, and that won't do. I really appreciate love. Your royalness brought me to love. And I stumble and meet that's key to love. I miss your loving each and every day. I'm on my way to you. I never meant to stay away this long. Cause without your love, I know you're on your way to me. I'm hoping you don't stay away too long.
Yeah, don't stay too long, babe. Without your love,
Baby, trust me,
I'm not anything.
Waiting for you. Sometimes I feel that you don't love me, but I know that you do. You are my king and I'm your queen, that's no doubt. You got the loving that I can't live without. So when I'm feeling down and lonely, I get by with the memories of you. Boy, I want you to know that I will never let you go. My love's for real and that's for sure. No one could ever love you more. And I will daily care for you. The life I have, I'll share with you. One love, one life, that's what we do. I'll be waiting you when you arrive. Woman, I'm on my way to you. I never meant to stay away this long. Cause without your love, I know you're on your way to me. I'm hoping you don't stay away too long. So without your love.
I'm really hoping that you're not taking too long. As a matter of fact, Tennille is heading to the front door right now to look for you.
I gave him back the keys to his front door, 'cause it seems he didn't care about me anymore.
New music coming at you, courtesy of
The love I had and he spilled it. Yeah.
J-Vibe Music Productions.
I packed my things into a Gucci bag inside to quit. Lord,
She can't wait no longer.
I don't wanna be lonely tonight. No, I don't wanna be lonely tonight. Mommy know that I don't wanna be lonely tonight. 'Cause I would rather to be lonely than to live a dirty life. All of those things that we've been through used to make me happy, now make me blue. I didn't believe the things that I've heard, no, but now I've seen it with my own eyes. I know actions speak louder than words, but Lord knows that I don't wanna be lonely tonight. I don't want. Mommy knows that I don't wanna be lonely tonight.
I gave her back the key to
to her front door. Cause it seems she didn't care about me anymore. I gave her all the love I had and she spilled it.
From Tennille at the front door.
So I packed my things into a shopping bag and decided to quit.
Going back to Gregory.
Lord knows that I don't
want to be lonely
tonight.
No, not tonight.
I don't wanna be lonely tonight. I said
This is Joanna Marie, and it's all about DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift. You feel for some stew?
Do you?
Check out Kevin Stew.
Do you feel for some stew? Good night. Hashtag happy. Thank you for reminding me I need to change the title from the tennis chat
cause it seems she didn't
to the stew part
me anymore. I gave her all the love I had and she spilled it, yeah. So I packed my things into a shopping bag and decided to quit. But Lord knows that I don't wanna be lonely tonight. I don't wanna be lonely tonight. I said I don't wanna be lonely tonight. But I would rather to be lonely than to live a dirty life. All of those things that we've been through used to make me happy, now make me blue. I didn't believe the things that I've heard, no. But now I've seen it with my own eyes. I know actions speak louder than words. But don't wanna be lonely tonight. Granny know that I don't wanna be lonely tonight. I mean it, yes I mean it. I don't wanna be lonely tonight. But I would rather to be lonely than to live a dirty life. I'm so sorry we've been through.
You're like a secret lover. I can call you anytime. When my heart is down and my face wears a frown, you are always around. Someone special that I can talk to.
Since you don't want to be lonely, Gregory,
Who is genuine and true.
you can get yourself a comforter.
Need you're a friend indeed.
This is all I need.
I'm so glad that you're my comforter, and I'm willing to see where this love will take us. I have no more time to invest in a life that was never designed for me. I'm so glad that you're my comforter, and I'm ready to be the one in a million, to have and to hold and to get that grow old just like how it's supposed to be. Been unhappy for a while now, but I tried my best to make it work. Even though I hide my hurt, I've got to face the fact that he doesn't know what I'm worth. I don't know what he is thinking, but this is truly a waste of my time. I'm so glad I have a friend like you that I could call on anytime to relax my mind. I'm so glad that you're my comforter, and I'm willing to see where this love will take us. I have no more time to invest in a life that was never designed for me. I'm so glad that you're my comforter, and I'm ready to be the one in a million, to have and to hold and to get that grow old just like how it's supposed to be. You can call me anytime, any minute, any hour. Just call me, girl, I'll make time for you, 'cause you're special.
This is the sound of Hope Turn the Pen Lindo.
I can see that you're not happy.
there's something missing.
The track is called Your Best Friend.
He says he wants you to have his children, obviously doesn't want you to be his wife. You said that I'm your best friend and I'm honored to be the one in your corner. But temptation is getting the better of me as my feelings for you get stronger. You say that I'm your best friend and I'm honored to be closer than a brother. But I really don't know if I can keep this up much longer. You keep thinking you can change me, but you're just a prisoner of love. You're complaining but you refuse to tell yourself that enough is enough. You said your life needs rearranging and you want to get closer to me. Well, you've got to make your decision, cause I don't wanna be a victim of jealousy. You said that I'm your best friend and I'm honored to be the one in your corner. But temptation is getting the better of me as my feelings for you get stronger. You say that I'm your best friend and I'm honored to be closer than a brother. But I really don't know if I can keep this up much longer. I'm waiting for you. We're gonna be bad tonight, broke out tonight. Make you see my other side.
I guess you can only be bad like that with your best friend, right?
Be rude tonight, so
Son of Sean and Dazzle.
I'm gonna be bad tonight, broke out tonight. Make you see my other side. Yes, I'm in the mood tonight to be rude tonight. Tonight is the night. Sipping on some wine, I'm feeling so fine. Waiting for you to come over. Watching the time when you on my mind. It's gonna
I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight once again.
We're on the phone, but I'm feeling alone. It's good to know.
Be sure to catch me tomorrow. Sean Garrity joins me for Healthy Love. 10 p.m. Eastern time.
To keep you begging for more. I'm gonna be bad tonight, broke out tonight.
4.5 minutes to the top.
See my other side. Yes, I'm
I have one more for you. Brand new music
tonight, so enjoy.
from the band Wild Tree,
I'm gonna be bad tonight,
featuring Annette Brissett.
broke tonight, and make you see my other side. Yes, I'm in the mood.
It goes a little something like this.
Tonight, tonight is the night.
It's called If I Didn't Know Any Better. This is how I roll out tonight. Thank you once again. Take care until tomorrow. Remember, Sir Rockwell kicks it off tomorrow morning. Thank you to the Wake Up and Live show for sponsoring this segment.
It's just a customary feeling. The moon is our deceiver that will leave you running.
I'm out. Take care.
Your heart is pulling. If I didn't know any better, I'd be falling deeper and deeper. It's true. I hear you calling. If I didn't know any better, and I'd be in love with you. Didn't want to look in the eyes of the one that I would be drawn to. I'm a moth lost in a fire. I know this is just a beautiful illusion, a case of the confusion between love and desire. Your heart is pulling. If I didn't know any better, I'd be falling
priceless? Consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.